What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, you know we was already talking before we even went live. This a hot topic right here, Jack. For real. This with this the way Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft, and like you said, man, he went from some people projecting him to be the first pick to this guy. Here we are 3 rounds in, and he not even, nobody's has picked him, man. So who want first crack at this?
Well, you know I'll take it. You know I'm gonna take it, baby. You know, because yeah. So what everybody didn't understand, first and foremost, the media put Shedeur Sanders as a top 5 pick in the draft. Okay. If you look at everybody that was also talking about him, it was only really the media doing it. And I've been saying from a long time with Shedeur Sanders, he's a good quarterback for doing what he was doing. But to be in the NFL and to be a great quarterback and to be labeled what you were, he has to beat quality teams. Mm-hmm. And the only quality team he has ever beat, the only one, is TCU.
Yeah.
Okay. And that when you have that one win on your resume and nothing else in your 4 years, and yes, he played at Jackson State and all that other stuff. We know the history of him. But when you only have that on your resume, and then everybody's boosting you up to be the next coming, you're bound to fail. You're bound to fail. And that's what I was trying to tell everybody. NFL scouts, they don't look at what you can do. They look at what you've done and what's your upside of it. Not just like, okay, well, he should do Sanders. He's making some passes. Well, if you play college football, pretty much every college football quarterback can make a pass.
Yeah.
A lot of his situations too. Let's not forget he had Travis Hunter right there, which overall is the best athlete in college football today.
Well, let me ask y'all this then. So if what you say is true, so how do you account for the fact that like even some people in the media now just they shocked like we are that he's still 3 rounds in that he has not been and you have 5 other quarterbacks who has gone before him. So how do you account for that?
Because again, it's the media and not the scouts, not the coaches, not the owners.
Man,
the media is go ahead.
Let me say something to you. You say you got to beat quality teams, right? But I'm going to take you back to Johnny Unitas. Johnny Unitas came from a small school, Louisville. They didn't really play big-time games, big-time wins, stuff like that. But Johnny Unitas wound up getting drafted and becoming one of the best quarterbacks ever. So you do have quarterbacks come from a smaller program that's not going to have quality big wins, so to speak.
Right, but that forward, though, Clayton, you got to move that forward. You can't go back to the John Unitas. It's different now.
Well, you can move it forward. You can move it forward too. I was just giving that as an example. It's a lot of guys that play at small programs.
Stay at Louisville and just say Lamar Jackson, for instance. You know what I mean? Stay at Louisville.
Yeah, well, I was just giving as an example. I don't know if the wins necessarily mean something as much as how they evaluating your talent. Go ahead.
Or Joe
Flacco. But look
something like that.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, we're missing the fact of that. I'm not talking about Shedeur's talent. I'm talking about the fact that we put him up there where he shouldn't have been. Because look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady went in the 6th round?
Right.
And he's the greatest. Look at your boy Brock Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Right.
And look at him now. I'm saying that the media shot it. Now, if they were to say Shedeur Sanders might be a 3rd round pick or a late 2nd round pick, okay, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Okay, the reason we're having this conversation because the media put Shedeur Sanders, and I don't know why, up on that top of that mountain, and that's a long fall when you realize that you never climbed it.
His pop played a part in that too, though.
Exactly.
Pop played a part in that. You know what I'm saying? His pop did as well. The thing I say is But hold up for a sec, man. Hold up for a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing I say about Shedeur, he's not really the athlete that, well, nobody really the athlete Lamar Jackson is, but he's not really an athletic quarterback. They say about his completion percentage, which was the highest ever, I think, which is completion percentage. But sometimes, he got sacked a lot. People blame the offensive line for that. Half of that is on the offensive line. Half of that is on the quarterback for holding on to the ball. And they say he wouldn't throw the ball away because he wanted to keep his completion percentage high and things like that. A lot of critics say a lot of his completions were screens, bubble screens, quick slants, things like that. But you can also look at that. Well, he knows what he's saying as well, as far as them quick slants, quick outs. He knows what he's saying and things like that. So everything you can, you give him a knock for, you can also praise him for in the same breath. My thing is, I didn't think that he would fall past the third round. I really thought taking him in the first round might be a little bit of a stretch, but I wouldn't have been surprised if a team would have took him in the first round. The thing about it that still had me baffled, I remember, if y'all remember, he had the Giants color cleats in his locker.
Yep.
He had the Giants color cleats in his locker, and that led me to believe, and I guess a lot of other people, that he had already spoken to them, and they had already said, "Man, if you'd had 3, you out guy." Right? Mm-hmm. If that wasn't the case, he hadn't spoken to the Giants or whatever. I want to know, like, where did he get that information from? That's where he would end up. And like man said, was he listening to the media too much? Because they was projecting him to go number 3 to New York, second quarterback off the board, so on and so forth. So, just stuff like that, man, may say maybe he really wasn't listening or hearing what was being said from the teams and the organizations. Go ahead, Clay. Go ahead.
You're right. He was under the impression he was going to the Giants. That's what blew everything up for him. Him and Brian Daboll clashed heads on their interview. They brought in some stuff, and Shedeur wasn't prepared. It was an install package or something. It's a report that's saying this.
Okay.
And Brian Daboll called him out on it, saying he wasn't prepared for the install package, and he took offense to that. And then Brian Daboll took offense to him taking offense to that. And that's where the friction came. And that's where the friction came in that. Yeah.
Oh, good info. I ain't know that. Yeah.
What's up, Jim?
No, that's why you don't put your eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. If you're a top recruit, you've gotta know the field. You gotta see what the field is out there. And if the Giants are the front runner, you absolutely prepare. Don't take it for granted, right? And I mean, like anything in sports, you got to have a plan B. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have a plan B.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that they kind of Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, did they kind of miscalculate with some of the not like participating in some of those activities and stuff like that? They said that they wasn't going to put him on show like that, and so they just had him skip some of those events and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he didn't work out for him.
That may have worked, rub people the wrong way.
Right, and it did, because I'm gonna tell you, Deion positioned his son to be the top player in the NFL draft. The problem is nobody else put him in that position. So when he doesn't do the mini workouts for these teams, when he doesn't do the pro days, and he decides to have one pro day at Colorado, and he ain't really doing nothing with the pro day, because they said he only threw deep 10 times at the pro day. So he's not even showing the strength of his arm. He's just, he's going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? He's not really trying to show that he wants to be on the team, because somebody got in his head, this is you. You Shedeur Sanders. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. And that's the fault. And I think that's his camp's fault. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is, as much as I love Deion as a coach, Shedeur Sanders has only had one coach in his life. and that's his father. And the downfall is his father is his coach, and his manager.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting advice from one person on his future career.
Yeah.
And when you play in the NFL, you gotta have multiple people telling you how to maneuver in the NFL.
Mm. So, and let me say this about that type of situation too, man. They said, like, so if a scout goes to Shedeur Sanders or anybody on that team and they want some information about Shedeur Sanders, they can't really trust the information that they're going to get because of the source of where the information is coming from. So that whole situation right there for a scout and NFL managers and stuff right there might turn them off because they don't feel like it's the information that they're getting is solid and something that they can rely and invest in.
Right.
And also,
absolutely.
and also when they interview teammates and players in that locker room, because the father is the coach, they're afraid to say certain things as well. So you can't even really get good data interviewing players too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, let's not forget, there was a while where everybody was calling Travis Hunter the best player on that team, and Shedeur Sanders took up for his son.
Oh, okay.
So let's not forget that, because they was calling Travis the best player on that team, and Shedeur came to his son's defense.
Well, he was, but the thing about him skipping workouts with certain teams, see, that speaks to entitlement. You know what I'm saying? That speaks to entitlement that I don't have to do that because I don't need y'all. When Shedeur, y'all all heard the story. When Shedeur years ago, when he was getting drafted and the Giants came to him and gave him that big old book or whatever, supposed to have been a test. He said it was thicker than a phone book. And he said, where y'all picking? And the Giants said, we picked 10th. And Shedeur said, man, I'm out. I ain't going to be there at pick 10. You got to understand the Maras are one of the original owners of an NFL team. One of the original owners. And they have ties to other owners. You understand what I'm saying? So it could be brushed back from that. They might look at it, whereas though Shedeur is not that far from that type of attitude, that type of brashness, that type of me first type attitude. And you know, at the quarterback position, that's one position where you can't be a me first guy. You understand? So they might look at that and say, nah, he's too close to his pop. And that attitude is not too far from that. You know, that could be another thing to consider.
And this all clashes with what we know about what the NFL owners are. It's a good old boys network, and if you don't play their game, absolutely they're going to shut you out.
Yeah,
right.
I think on that clip on that show when he said it's teams that I won't allow him to play for, I think he said something real crucial too that I thought might have been a knock against them. He said, I know what's behind the curtain. So now you got a young man and his dad that's living in this reality world, so to speak. They videoing everything, they social media, they filming their life. And you know, some things that go on behind the curtain, that's almost like a knock at the shield. You know what I mean? And now you're affecting the Shield's brand. Like, so some of that is like, you want to be careful dealing with that because they're very outspoken. You know what I'm saying? So
you're right, Clayton. So let me ask you this, bro. And I'm not saying you got information on it, right? But what do you think Shedeur meant when he said, like, I know what goes on behind the curtain? What do you think that he was talking about?
He was saying there's certain organizations I will not let my son play for because I know what's going on behind the curtain. So that could be.
So I know what that organization is about.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I'm a Cowboy fan, true and true. But the Cowboys got more dirt behind that curtain than probably anybody. Because them 90s Cowboys teams, them boys was acting up. And Jerry was putting his money to cover those boys. Michael Irvin even said it. Them boys were acting up. So they can get arrested and you will never know about it because it will never go to the police.
Right.
And why is that? Because Jerry Jones steps in and takes care of that.
Right.
So that's a lot of that good old boy power helping players that Shedeur may have been referring to. Because
real.
now
it's real. No question about it. It's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me
because
ask
now
y'all
you
this.
can't do nothing.
Yeah, well, let me ask y'all this. So now you had Archie Manning. Archie Manning got he had 2 sons. He had Eli and Peyton, right? So Eli is who drafted him? San Diego. Archie Manning was like, no, he not, he not playing for San Diego. So Deion Sanders essentially did the same thing. I think they were talking about Cleveland. He almost did the same thing when he said there's certain organizations that my son won't play for. So you, Clayton, you don't think that situation is the same?
It's slightly different. It's slightly different because Archie allowed his son to get drafted. Then he came out and said, no, we're not going there.
That's it, Mike. That's the difference.
All right.
Let him get drafted first.
If you let him get drafted, all right. I don't know. So explain that. So if you let him get drafted, then you say, nah, he's not going there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's what he did.
Go ahead, Clayton. Explain.
I think that's more of an install. If you let somebody draft him, you know what I mean? So you let somebody.
He's in the club now, Mike. If you let him draft him, he's in now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have leverage because we're in. See,
Okay.
Shedeur is not even in the club yet.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Get into it. Then then you can maneuver. You understand?
Right, but Mike has a point though. Mike has a point because let's not talk about Eli, but I'm gonna tell you who did it was John Elway with Baltimore.
Yeah.
John Elway's father came out and said, if Baltimore drafts my son, he will play baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
Before the draft.
Yeah. But
which allows you so.
But he had leverage.
That's what
he had some leverage.
Right.
Because
he could play baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, all right. So, all right. So that is his leverage. But do you think the NFL owners now they care about if Shedeur say, well, I'm gonna go play baseball or something else? Only leverage I think that you have is if there was another professional football league. And then you would draw, money and you would draw attention and you sell tickets for another league. But is that really leverage?
No. Well, the NFL is the largest conglomerate out there.
Right. So that's just proving that you're willing to make that sacrifice. But you know what I mean? You're not really. If you say I'm not going to play for you, who else you going to play for as far as football is concerned?
Well, see, now you're giving a team. See, Elway identified. Everybody knew the Colts had that pick, and they was going to pick them. So he identified a specific team, and he said, "We're not going to play for you." So now you letting that team know that drafting is a waste of time. It's going to be a headache. But with Deion, they didn't name a specific team. He was just saying this certain organization I will not allow him to play for. So it's just slightly different, and with Eli, he got drafted too. So you don't want to hold up all that and have a guy holding out and all that stuff. So you kind of give them their freedom in a sense. Yeah.
Right, but that's where I think Deion, where they went wrong because Elway identified the team he did not want to play for.
Yeah.
When Deion did that, they left a broad range out there.
Yeah.
Right. So you thinking all 32 teams, like, oh shit, is he talking about me?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
but Deion couldn't name a team because the Shedeur wasn't guaranteed the #1 pick. And Baltimore had the #1 pick, and Elway was the #1 pick, so he can identify.
Right, but
number one.
That's where I think he went wrong. That's exactly where I think he went wrong. If there was a team that he knew he didn't want his son to go to, he should have just put it out there. All right, my team, my guy is not going to such and such. I don't care where they pick at. I don't care where you pick them at.
I gotta say,
but not identifying.
I gotta say this. I gotta say what Deion Sanders did, in my opinion, was less egregious than what John Elway father did and what Archie Manning did, because Deion, what he did, he just made a blanket statement. He didn't identify, number one, he didn't identify a specific team. Number two, he didn't wait until he thought he had leverage. He was just being honest about what he thought, where he thought that his son would fit in at. So I think that was less egregious. So with that, go ahead, man.
I'm gonna say no, because not identifying is putting you're not telling the people what you want. You're just telling the people what you're gonna do. By him not identifying what he wanted to do or where he wanted that, if he'd came out and said, I want my son to play for the Cowboys only. That's a better statement than saying it's certain teams in the NFL I don't want him to play for. Because then every team in the NFL has a notion like, damn, was he talking about me? Yeah, sometimes if you make a decision, it's best to identify why you're making that decision than it is to throw a blanket statement out there, because then you offend everybody. Well, sometimes it's better to shoot the gun at one person.
Let me ask you this. What about now Tampa Supreme asks a question. Tampa Supreme says, will he go undrafted? Do you think he will go undrafted?
I thought he wouldn't drop beyond the third round, but I mean this is starting to feel as soon as the Giants picked up in the second round, they picked up that kid, and I already forgot the kid from Ole Miss. I'm like,
Dark.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, it was. It just felt like, okay, there's all the teams seem to be on the same page. There's something bigger going on than just right. So okay, that's fine. He got his sales job, right? His camp is doing the sales job, and you're supposed to do that. If we're as fans looking at it and go, okay, well, he's overvalued for top 5, that's fine. They're playing the game that way. But this other stuff about, Dion saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna allow him to do this or to do that," and I think if he was putting all his eggs in that Giants basket and that fell through, then and the rest of the owners are like, nah, we don't want to touch it. He might not get drafted.
See, I'm thinking he might not get drafted, but then again, when you listen to Sean Payton comes out and he says the kid is going to play in this league and he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So just beware of that. What's happening, his slide. So I'm still on the fence with that, but I will say Shedeur did a little bit more damage to himself because he publicly said that when I go in with these interviews, I'm interviewing these GMs too. They're not just interviewing me. I'm interviewing them. So, he's shooting a lot of ammo at them,
You got to play the game. You got to play the game.
You put me down with a lot of stuff I ain't even know.
Yeah, he said that.
A lot of this stuff, man. See, that's why it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense now. See, I didn't know all this stuff, man.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you gotta be humble before you make the money.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he missed. Yeah. Okay. Even if you got the talent, attitude goes a long way, especially when you make hundreds of millions. Okay. Yeah. So he could be an all-star, but if his attitude is bad, some people will shy away from that.
And I like the idea of interviewing them, but not like what you going to do for me. I'll interview them to see what they're looking for from a humble perspective, because that's a good idea, but not to be so brash like, shit, I'm interviewing y'all. What y'all about? What's your organization about?
That NIL money helps. In a way, though, man. You feel what I'm saying? So that NIL helps him have that brashness, and I don't need y'all type attitude. You feel me?
Now, that NIL money do give you like a false sense of security. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like now you talking about where you might have made $4 million in college. Now you talking about like making 10 times that playing in the league, especially if you're going number 1, right? So, but what you said, though, Clayton, I think is good though, because the way it's not what you do, but how you do it. If you go to a team like you said, and you be like, and you want to know what they looking for, what are your expectations from me? Yes. You try to ingratiate yourself.
Yes.
Once you ingratiate yourself to somebody like that. That would go a long way to getting you, in. So I thought they kind of overplayed their hand from the beginning.
So let me ask you a question then, fellas. What y'all think about this? If Shedeur Sanders does not get drafted, does he have a 5th-year eligibility in college?
Yes, he does.
No, he does not.
So do he go? Huh?
Let me tell you why. Okay. Man.
I thought he did. Go ahead.
Once you declare, because I thought this too. Once you declare for the NFL draft, you forfeit your eligibility. He had to go through the court.
Hold up. I'm going to say that was then. I'm talking now, though. Is it still like that now?
Yeah,
Like
because college players are making money now, and I thought that was all equated because they couldn't make money.
No, once you declare for the draft, your eligibility is gone. You can't go back. They say he had to petition the courts to get them to make a ruling for him to go back to school.
And I think the courts. I think recently the courts has ruled on something like that, and now I think changed. Like I think
because a basketball player has done it. A basketball player has done it.
The basketball player, as long as you don't get an agent, you can go back. That's been the case with basketball for a while. As long as you don't get the agent, you can always go back. But in the NFL, it's different. Once you declare for the NFL, that's it. Your eligibility is up. You can't go. You had to put. Because I just looked it up on Thursday. I
I'm going to say because theoretically, with the money NIL players getting, he actually made more NIL than on a undrafted rookie deal.
How that work?
Yeah,
man.
That's interesting.
I think that they kind of like overplayed their hand as far as like some of the public statements that was made. You know, and I get it. You know, you're a proud father. You know, you got two sons that you know, who could possibly play in the league. You know, but I don't think what he did, in my opinion, I really don't think it was any more egregious than what Archie Manning did. You know, Archie Manning is not as flamboyant and not as in your face as Deion Sanders, right? But he know the league and he know what was behind the curtains too, which is one of the reasons why he didn't want his son to go to San Diego.
Yeah, because he said San Diego at the time was a bad run franchise.
Yeah.
He said that, right?
But again, we let's look at the elephant in the room. Shedeur Sanders, talent-wise, ain't close to neither one of them.
Close to who?
Eli Manning or John Elway's college career?
Well, no, not John Elway, but I push back against Eli.
Not even Eli. Oh no.
Elway. Eli.
No,
not Elway, but
you
Eli,
might not like you might not like Eli or whatever, but no, Eli had a hell of a college career.
I don't dislike Eli.
We talking about Eli and Peyton. We talking about Eli and Peyton, not John Elway. So Eli, what are you saying that he's not close to?
He's not close to neither one of them.
Eli and Peyton.
He was saying Elway because Elway refused to go to Baltimore and Eli refused to go to San Diego. He comparing them two.
Right.
I wouldn't put him in Elway category, but I think if you look at Shedeur Sanders, his completion percentage, his accuracy, his yardage, see, a lot of times that's what they basing a lot of stuff on too, is statistics. He the Big 12 player of the year and all this other stuff. So I don't know. I would push back on the Eli thing.
Yeah.
And he's tough.
Eli, where Eli played at Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
So the competition, in my opinion, do you think the competition was tougher at Ole Miss?
It was,
right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would definitely give Eli that nod. You know what I mean? As far as like if you scouting Eli and you scouting Shedeur, the competition probably was a little bit tougher than what and they had some bigger wins than what Shedeur had.
But I'm gonna give Shedeur a lot of credit because as many sacks as he took. And he was always under pressure. I don't care about the competition. If you getting hit when you throwing, you getting hit when you throwing.
He's a throwback. He's a throwback.
Yeah.
Because he's a stand in the pocket and throw it on time kind of guy. And I mean, the skills are there. He should have been. The thing is, he should have been drafted at no lower than the third round.
I thought the Steelers was going to get him. I still think the Steelers might get him.
I'm about to say they still could come around and get him. Yeah, they still could come around and get him.
And Eli and Shedeur can get out the pocket. He ain't fast as his father or anything, but Eli wasn't mobile at all.
Yeah.
What
No, none of the Mannings are mobile. Was mobile.
Yeah.
None of them.
He's not that.
Well,
He's not
the
that.
father was mobile, wasn't he?
Archie was.
He was.
Yeah.
Archie was.
He stayed on the run.
Yes.
Yeah, Archie stayed. Yeah, Archie stayed on the run. So,
He sure did. He sure did.
Man, you know, playing down there in New Orleans, man, he had to.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Saints.
So let me ask the panel a question then. Is this a good thing for Shedeur and his development that he's going down now? Because I see it as this. Now he gets picked up by a team that can nurture him, don't need him to start right away, go to a franchise that has a decent offensive line, decent players, and he can develop himself, a.k.a. Tom Brady, Mahomes, all these quarterbacks that sit a little bit, develop their skills, and not depend on right away. Do you think that's good for Shedeur, or do you think his ego will get in the way of something like that and just make him a monster where he don't need to be?
You know what I think would be a bad thing? Not to skip over your question, but if he sit around all this time and still go to, and go to a team that need him to start right away, and then he don't, and the money that he missed out on when he could have gone when he could have gone higher, I just think that right there is an insult to you, man. The whole situation for Shedeur Sanders just really it's just a greasy situation. You know what I mean?
Answer your question though, man. Both. I think it would be good for him to sit and learn the nuances of the game and on the NFL level. But I think if there's a big if now, if his father is saying, man, you better than that guy, this is politics, you should be playing in front of that guy, you can't do what you do, that might play into his ego and his, and his me first mentality. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That might play into
I got you.
Yeah.
Good point. Great point.
What do you guys think of this? Right. So this is going to be totally from out of left field. We all love great comeback stories. We all love the fall from grace, make it back to the top of the mountain sort of stories. What if Deion's playing the long game and they're doing this to make him drop, and he goes to a team and he sits behind somebody and they're playing the long game, that his skills and his growth is going to take him back to the top, and he's going to be one of the elite quarterbacks. If any of that happens, that becomes a great story down the road.
Yeah.
And we would celebrate it. So I think to your question, man, that is the upside, that potential that's out there for him, given the current situation. The only thing that could derail that scenario is Shedeur and Deion.
Yeah. So, and speaking of that situation, have you any of y'all watched the Kurt Warner story?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you just mentioned is the Kurt Warner story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The way you said the scenario is the way the Kurt Warner story plays out.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think it'll be good
without bagging groceries.
You said what? What you say?
Yeah, without bagging groceries.
Without bagging groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. As long as he overcome this situation, I think it'll be good, because Deion Sanders always say we keep receipts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if he allowed the situation to motivate him and inspire him to be, a better ball player, then which I kind of think he will. I kind of think he'll be able to get past this.
But see that, right? Just what you said right there is the part that's killing me. Mm-hmm. His statement, "We keep receipts." Mm-hmm. It's not a we thing right now. It's a Shedeur Sanders thing.
No,
it's
man.
him.
I know. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Deion's still making it about himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a sense, maybe subconsciously, he might not even know he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? But he's still making himself part of the entire equation and not letting that young man, do his thing. It's always good. I ain't got no problem. You know what I'm saying? We're all fathers. You know what I mean? So we're going to support our children. And a lot of people don't like you know what I mean, how certain things are done, especially when they come to us. But if you gave him all you could give him, right? Let him stand out there on his own, let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Have confidence in what you put in him. Have confidence in what you put in him. You know what I'm saying? And when he need to be guided still, because we all need to guide our kids, you know what I mean, even if they grown.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I mean,
you know
I like that, but I just think that I don't have a problem with maybe he shouldn't be as public, you know what I mean, like with his statements, but he always gonna be a part of that cabinet, you know what I mean? Because they part of the same that's the same organization. The same regime.
Right, but look at it this way though. Look how other famous athletes that had their kids go into the next. I mean, that becomes pros. Prime example, Steph Curry. You know, Steph Curry's father was all in his ear throughout his career getting to the NBA. But you never heard Steph Curry's father in the media, discussing his son and what his son should or should not do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of Carmelo Anthony. You don't hear him in the media like my son is this, my son is that. He should be. It's a way that you carry yourself, you conduct yourself behind the scenes, and let your son be a professional. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens when you're talking and the negotiation with billionaires, they're like sharks. They're gonna take advantage of you any which way they can. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if they see the fact that Shedeur Sanders is not a man because Dion talks for him all the time, you know what I'm saying? That's going to create problems. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a GM, how are you going to go to Shedeur and be like, yo, I need you to do this, and just be quiet about it, play the plays, and run my plays? He going to tell his father come back and be like, yo, why you talking to my son like that?
And then I'm telling you another thing on site. People can be condescending in a sense as well, man. But the same point you're making. If Shedeur goes, to any locker room and says anything, they like, did your father say, did you check with your father first?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did your father say that was cool for
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They could use it against him, in a condescending manner. So yeah, you're right. You're right.
Dion prides himself on building young men into men, right? And one of the key ingredients to that is allowing that man to stand on his own. You got to build him up to be able to stand on his own. And he still got his children thinking. I seen a video after the draft, and he was talking to Shiloh, and he said, it's going to be worse for you. Anytime your last name Sanders, this is what it's going to be. So for some reason, they believe that he's got his son believing and bought in that what's happening to him is because of Dion.
Right.
And this is the kid's mindset.
That's right.
So it's like, at some point, you got to, develop him into being his own man and not make it to be about you.
That's right.
But Clayton, couldn't his father had foreseen this situation and handled it differently? You know what I mean? Everybody knew that because his father was Dion, that, you know what I mean, that both of those boys was going to be under scrutiny. So a certain amount, like you still have to manage that situation a certain way, whereas though your kids don't catch any blowback from who you was as a football player. So that just
but you gotta.
I agree with that, but I don't think all of this is Dion. I think some of this is Dion and then these kids' attitude.
Yep.
They have to you have to teach a young man to take accountability, not keep saying this is the reason why. It's not me, it's them. Yep. You have to teach them that.
That's right. That's right, Clay. That's absolutely right, brother. That's absolutely right.
And Dion, Dion knows only one thing. Dion's going to be Dion, and he's going to steamroll whatever. And that works fine if you're in an interview to be the head coach, because ADs want to hear that kind of thing. But when you're trying to steamroll billionaire owners, billionaire owners is going to be go away.
Yep. Every time.
Because I'm going to tell you, you're right, Jim. And I'm going to tell you the real point of that, too, is the fact that a GM can get fired. You know what I'm saying? A coach can get fired. The owner of the team, he can't get fired. Who's going to fire the owner of the team?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, it's the attitude that you bring towards the situation. And, Dion is just so flamboyant. And Shedeur has only had one coach in his whole entire career so far.
But
So
do y'all think that GMs are really concerned about Deion Sanders, like the influence he might have over Shedeur, because he's not the one signing the checks?
Yeah, but
I think they're concerned about it.
A lot of times, GM is the owner's mouthpiece too. So a lot of times the GM is the owner's mouthpiece. Even though, like you said, Mike, he's not the one that's paying them, bottom lining them, but he's the owner's mouthpiece. And if the owner has any type of trepidation about bringing him in there because of XYZ, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they won't do it. Or they ask him questions to see if that's the type of attitude or disposition that he might have. Then go back to the owner and be like, no, man, that's not him at all. This, that, and this. Or, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Your thoughts are confirmed. That's exactly what he is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think
and that's probably what happened. Shedeur was probably high on a lot of teams' lists at the beginning of in like January, February. He was probably high on a lot of people's lists. The media probably got that right. But then when you start doing these interviews, when you start looking at these pro days, and I guarantee you, they looking at a social media page. How you picked up on the Giants cliques in the locker room, I'm sure if I'm the Cardinals, I pick up on that too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that go on after football that could have cost Shedeur the spin that he's in right now.
You're absolutely right. Because when the season's over, they ain't really talking about football too much no more. You're talking about other things.
Right.
Yeah, right, man.
Let's look at the clique situation. If Giants and him have decided on something, it wasn't up to him to release that.
Right.
That's supposed to come out on draft night.
Right.
So that's already you going against the shield to some degree.
Right.
Then there's another elephant in the room, and you guys said it. He's only had one coach in his life. And Deion then went to 2 programs and turned them around. So now you go in to a situation, a team, and the team's not performing well. The head coach is now looking over his shoulder, worrying about are they going to bring Deion in to take his job. The whole thing can be messy.
Yeah.
But all right, so now Deion's Shedeur didn't go in the first 3 rounds, right? And so by him now, no matter where he go at now, the leverage now, because he won't have like a guaranteed contract or no signing bonus or nothing like that. So all the leverage now goes back to the ownership, right? So do you think that could have been like in their thoughts as far as like humbling Deion, the Sanders family? You know what I mean? Like humble them. Like you're part of an organization now where you really don't have no leverage, and you need to be cognizant of like what you say and when you say it.
Absolutely, Mike. 100%. Absolutely, man. Because I think, like you say, he go later rounds, 4th round and later. That's the later rounds, if you ask me. So so this was a point like that. We're gonna humble you. Then once you get here, all that brashness and stuff that's gone now, because you're a 4th round pick now. So you're not gonna come here. Yeah, you're not coming here with this me attitude. You coming here to work, basically to make the team now. You know what I mean? You're gonna come here and you was asked of you if you want to make the team. So I think that's absolutely Mike. I agree with you 100%.
It may have inflamed his ego.
How so?
Gotta be careful about that.
How so?
Inflamed who?
It may have inflamed Shedeur's ego because he slid. That just might fuel it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so he might really come in cocky. But I don't know if the money is an issue, because I don't know what first rounders get, but they get a rookie contract. And I think this boy got brand deals and stuff like that. That's probably going to be making more money even if he went first in the draft. So I don't think the money is an issue for this kid because he got brand deals.
I think it's leverage. It's leverage.
I mean, I don't think money is leverage. I don't think you can leverage. I don't think
the price point of a first round pick. I think the price of a first round pick is something like $10 million for the number 1 pick, $10 million a year, and then I think it goes down from that point. But I think anybody in the first round goes between $5 and $10 million a year.
Yeah, it's something
so
like that.
there's a substantial amount of money between first round and 4th round.
And let me tell you,
I'm saying I don't know if there's a substantial amount of money between the brand deals he got and what he'd have got going high.
That's what I want to speak. That's what I want to speak on. Now, I agree with you. I agree with you that he got the brand deals, but how can you market a 4th or 5th round pick?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying, Clayton? You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're wrong. You're absolutely right. How you market a 4th or 5th round pick as opposed to a 1st round pick? You know what I'm saying?
I think he already has the brand deals because it's celebrity. He already has celebrity. I'm thinking he already has brand deals now.
Right.
Now you're right. Being a 4th pick, it's gonna be hard to market that moving forward. But he has celebrity.
Right.
His name alone.
Right, but but now you look at the question now, his next level is not there now. What does that do for his brand?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because his whole brand was contingency on building going up and up and up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Those guys that signed him in college, last year or this year, for a brand endorsement, they're thinking he's going to the NFL. He's going 1st round. Let's sign him now, and we can get him off the board.
Exactly.
That's not happening now.
Right.
I also think he got celebrity because of social media too.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think Shedeur at this point now can play his way to being a superstar?
Yeah.
Do you think he's talented enough to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he can get better, man. Not today, but I think he can get better. I see his room for growth in his game. I see that way he can get to where as though I ain't saying Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady status, but you know what I'm saying. Let me ask you a question: can he be what Baker Mayfield is now?
I think so.
I think he can. I think he can.
In the right situation, he could be better.
That's exactly right. Baker Mayfield just signed a $100 million deal with Tampa Bay. You feel what I'm saying? So I think he can do that. I think he can get to that. You know what I'm saying? Now, for hold
on. Let's not forget Baker Mayfield was a beast in college, though.
Yeah, and he was the #1 pick.
Let's not forget that. Yeah, let's not forget that.
He was the #1 pick. I get it, but I think he can. I think he can do what Baker Mayfield does.
I want to equate him more to Justin. The dude in Philly. What's his name? Jalen Hurts. Yes. Where you remember Jalen Hurts he left Alabama because they wouldn't play him.
Mm-hmm.
His last year, he come to Philly. He sits a little while. He gets in, and we call him Super Bowl champions today.
Yeah, but he went.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't know if you remember that one year in Oklahoma. He went down there and he was in Heisman talks. When he left Alabama, he went to Oklahoma for 1 year and he tore it up down there. So
right, but Shedeur's game remind me of his game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's where the game transitions for me at. That's where I see his game going at. And if he can get the right people like Jalen got, see, to me, I think Shedeur needs to let Dion be a father and not be everything else that he is in his life. Get a real agent. Tell Daddy, I got this. Do you? I got me. You know what I'm saying? Get an agent. Get one of those guys, they're all season. Go to these football camps. You know what I'm saying? Call Eli and Peyton and be like, yo, when is your camp starting? I want to get in. You know what I'm saying? Humble yourself. Get better and show the squads now that you're trying to get better. Because the thing is, how much off-season, prep has he actually been doing to show these scouts what he can do? That's the part that's killing me.
When you just say, man, I'm only going to interview for a handful of teams, man, that says a lot, man, and it's not good. That's a lot, and none of it is good. You know what I'm saying? When you say it's 32 teams in the league, just like my man said, just like Dwight Jones popped up, and he says 32 teams, that want to give you a job or interview for the job, and you say you're only going to pick 5. You know what I'm saying? Interviews to go to. So you know what I mean? So,
I think what he really has to show the league, I don't think it's about his talent. I think it's about his attitude.
Yes.
That's what he really has to improve.
Yeah. So do y'all think that this situation will humble him?
It has already.
I don't know.
So?
It has already.
I don't know about that, Tom. I watched him.
You don't think so?
I watched his little they got a little channel called Well Off. Mm-hmm. And during this whole draft, it's real time. He don't seem humbled at all. he's still on this shit, man. Like, yeah, this ain't God, this the devil. Yeah, it's about my dad. You know, he's still on that bravado.
Right. So you probably right there, Clayton. I just thought, man, he didn't have a choice but to be humbled by this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams passed over you 3 times. A lot of teams passed over you 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So
hold on, no. All the teams passed over him 3 times.
Yep.
Not a lot of them, all of them.
Some teams they have a 3rd round pick. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like every team, like my Steelers, they didn't have a 2nd round pick, so I only passed on them twice. I'm just saying it, like, you know what I'm saying? Because some teams didn't have a 2nd, they traded it. You know what I mean, for draft picks. You know what I mean? Drafts ago. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
When Cleveland bypasses you right now at this point, there's an issue. There's an issue.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man.
Pittsburgh don't even have a quarterback right now. They don't even have one. They still passed over you.
But see, Cleveland they so snake bitten, man. Cleveland so snake bitten, man. Especially, you know, coming off the deal they gave to Deshaun Watson and things like that, man. If you want to go years and years back when they passed on Donovan McNabb for the boy Couch coming out of Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? Tim Couch coming out of Kentucky. You know, Cleveland just don't never get this thing right, man. So they probably like, man, we ain't even looking at no quarterback. You know what I mean?
Hey, hold on. Let's not talk about like 4 or 5 years ago, they had the number 1 squad everywhere. Everybody was talking about how good Cleveland was because they had names everywhere over their team. I mean, you're right about that snake bitten thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Cleveland might have been one of the teams that Shedeur was like, I'm not going to go to.
That's what I'm saying.
It might have been one of those teams.
That's what I'm saying.
I just don't know how Pittsburgh passed on him. Not unless Aaron Rodgers and them already came to some kind of agreement. But you brought DK Metcalf to your team.
Yes.
You got to get a quarterback, man.
What we was saying earlier, Clayton. It ain't talent. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm not going to pick him in the 1st round, and he's going to walk in here like he is the team.
I find that interesting too, because how talented is he? Because when you really, really, really are really talented, motherfuckers overlook a whole lot of shit.
Hell yeah.
And your bravado and your attitude.
Yeah.
I'm going to look past that because I need a quarterback.
So what do you think it is, though? He's not as talented as he's talented.
Yeah. He's not as talented.
That's what I've been saying.
I think that's some of it too.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, listen. If you look at a lot of his throws, especially the ones to Travis Hunter, the athlete in Travis made a lot of those catches. Short yardage, and he's gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when you take that factor away from him, you take Travis Hunter away from him. What do you really have except for a developmental quarterback that's pro ready, but not pro ready to start? And that's what a lot of kids coming out of college don't really understand. Yeah, you're pro ready, and being pro ready means you got the size, you got the speed, you got the throwing power. The only thing you may be missing is the decision making, which is important in an NFL because you got linemen just as fast as wide receivers in the NFL. So you got to be mentally ready.
Deshaun Watson was taboo, and it was against the league. But Cleveland said, I need a quarterback. So they went and got his ass and gave him all that money. You know what I'm saying?
And hold up. And they got rid of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Well, Baker, not too bad. He got
he had a good year the year before that, though.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was surprised.
He's playing well now. You know what I'm saying? Downtown.
Yeah. Oh, you saying he was in Cleveland? You're right. You're right.
So look, what do y'all think about this? So Nicole Munzo in the chat said they overlooked Johnny Manziel's issues and red flags. And
yes, they did.
You know, so that's a good point.
But Johnny still dropped though. He went in the 1st round, but he still dropped. He ain't going to
But you know why? But you know why they did that though? Because look who he was playing for, and look who he played against.
Yeah.
And then he had a whole lot of off-field. Johnny had a whole
Right, but his resume, as far as his gameplay, overshadowed all that other stuff that other teams look at.
Right.
That's why Johnny Manziel went in the first round.
Yep.
And Johnny had something that was special in him.
Yep.
See, Shedeur is a good quarterback, but they don't see special.
Yeah.
Right.
And then going back to Johnny Manziel, he beating Nick Saban in Alabama defense. Him beating them. That almost was his NFL stamp right there. That was his NFL stamp right there.
Right. And that's what I was saying in the beginning of all this conversation back when we were talking about Shedeur being the number one pick or the number one quarterback going over. It's a lot of times you got to look at what they do against the quality of what they're playing against. The dude from Miami, they win no national championships. He just went to Miami. He played 1 year in Miami, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1 year in Miami. Why did he go number one? The reason is because his NFL statue is great. And two, what he did against he played top-notch teams every single week. You know what I'm saying? So they looked at all that.
But they were saying it was his arm talent and all his intangibles.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. Right.
He got, you know, even if he can't play the position, you know what I mean, top tier, he got, you know, upside. You know what I mean? His upside, like you say, he can spin it, got a big arm, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Tangibles, like you speak to, Clayton. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? That's why.
Look, let me what's this? Purebred T made a statement, right? I want y'all to speak to this. Let me see. He said, I heard a guy, Dan O, on First Take say that 75% of Shedeur passes on film didn't count because they were under 5 yards. You know, his throws were under 5 yards. So, and man, I think you made mention to that too about the short passes and stuff like that. What do y'all think about that?
Hey, it's fact. It's fact. I'm gonna tell you this: Shedeur Sanders, when you throw a 5-yard pass in college, okay, it's different when you're throwing a 5-yard pass in NFL. NFL linemen, offensive and defensive linemen, are averaging like 6'4", 6'5". You know what I'm saying? On the average, they're big. So a lot of them bubble screens and stuff you do will get batted down. You know, you're playing against the pros. The quality of what you're playing against is risen when you go to the NFL.
And those,
you know what I'm saying? So
those linemen have vertical.
What you say,
right?
Jim?
Those linemen have vertical.
Yeah, very athletic.
And Mike, if that's the case too, that he doesn't have much, you know, short passing and stuff. This is why he should have been real open in the combine. He should have been willing to throw for these teams. He should have been willing to put his talent on display.
He's operating like a person who don't have anything to prove when he got the world to prove.
That's right, Mike.
And let me say this too. Let's not forget this. Let's not forget this point. Let's not forget this point. Shedeur Sanders does not play under center.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He does not play under center.
Yeah.
So that eliminates a lot of people that want their quarterback to play under center in their scheme. You know what I'm saying? He's not, you know, and the reason he doesn't play over center because a lot of times going backwards, he can't see over the line of scrimmage and the time enough to make a 3-second pass.
I thought it was, what's the name though? More than anything though, man, I thought it was anything because of his protection issues. So they always put him in a pistol or the shotgun. You know, to give him
well, no, but listen, he's been in a pistol shotgun his whole college career, even at Jackson.
Yeah,
he's been there.
Yeah.
So if I'm a offensive coordinator and I need a quarterback, but I need this quarterback to play 40-45% of the snaps under center, I might not even consider him.
Hey, while we talking about Shedeur, he didn't get drafted, did he? While we on here, did he?
No, I've been keeping an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. Good stuff, Jim.
But Mike, going back to what you were saying, Mike, real quick. You know what I'm saying? His pro day. I know he did. Of course, he did his pro day. I didn't know he only threw 10 deep balls, like man was saying. But like you say, that's why you go to the combine and throw, so you can show the scouts and you show these teams that you're able to make certain throws and you're able to do certain things on the move and things like that. Instead of, operating like you have nothing to prove, just like you said, Mike. That was a good point, man. You know what I'm saying? People feel as though now the combine are beneath them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm indifferent to it. Okay, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. But you know what I mean? If you nice like that, yeah, let me go show you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you that I'm him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show you that I'm him. Right?
They also, Dion and him also took offense. They took offense to some NFL players telling him that patting the ball is a pick six in the league.
Yeah.
And they were critiquing him because he did a lot of patting in the pro day.
Yeah.
And they was critiquing him, and he didn't, and it doesn't seem like he takes criticism too well.
I heard so that I did hear that he patted that ball. Yeah, that's giving them D-backs time to jump routes and all that. Yes.
So they was trying to look out for him, you know, and that could have been how him and Brian Daboll clashed, critiquing him.
Right.
You know,
Well, I think it's not a good, if he can't take constructive criticism, it's not a good look for him, because he's coming in with bad habits that a lot of young quarterbacks come in with anyway. You know what I mean? Like all these quarterbacks, sometimes you don't like their body language. Sometimes, you know, like you say, they pat the ball and they had little tell signs about them. So, but he needs to your point earlier, his attitude is a big part of probably, you know, this whole situation here.
The door's wide. The door's wide open for him. He's got to change his attitude and play the game within the game. He's got to be humble, and he's got to go in there, and that's fine. If they want to move him to that back of the line, like I said, the opportunity is there for him to prove everybody wrong and be a great star, but his back's against the wall, and he's got to be the one to decide. And he's going to change.
Now, see, and you're right, Jim. The whole question is going to be now is what is his attitude going to be now? You know what I'm saying? Does he handle like a real man should? Like, okay, I got picked here. Watch what I do when I get in the league. I'm going to show you guys that you made a mistake by not picking me. Or does he go in with the attitude, well, everything is rigged and they got something against my father? It's all going to depend on how he decides to be a man in this situation. Does he blame it on what they got against his father for his situation, or do he take responsibility for his situation and prove that they were wrong by not picking him where they should have?
100%. And whatever you use as your motivation, man. Sometimes, you know, I'm gonna prove team wrong. Sometimes that's people motivation. Other times, man, let me go out here and just show what I can do. Not necessarily focusing on I'm gonna make that team look bad. Let me just go out here and show what I can do. Show that I belong on the field. You know what I mean? Things like that. That I belong here. I'm not just here because of my pops or because of the name on the back of my jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show y'all that I really belong in this league. Some people, I think, you know what I mean, to that detriment, they get so caught up in trying to prove teams wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there and play your game. Go out there and play your game and not focus on the team that didn't pick you. You know what I'm saying?
And that team that did pick you, the team that does select him, he should have undying loyalty to that team. Yeah. You know, they put it all out on the line for him. Yeah. You know?
And to go back to what I'm saying, the team that's picking you now passed on you. You know what I mean? So you got to prove something to them too. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Right. Yeah, wow.
Right. Hey,
that's a conundrum.
First, I think he needs, like you said, I think he needs to prove something to himself first. Yeah. Okay? Far from it, he needs to prove something to himself, because I don't think we're having this conversation if his last name wasn't Sanders. Okay? We're not having this conversation about this young man. Okay? So remove that Sanders from him and he's just Shedeur. He has to prove to himself that being just Shedeur is good enough to play in the NFL without his father's name on his jersey.
So you know what I'm saying? So check it out, man. If Sanders is not on the back of his jersey, we okay with him going in the 4th round?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
I've been okay with it.
Yep.
I've been okay with it.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, all right.
I'm going to tell you, the media put this gentleman in the 1st round. The media did that. And he fed into the hype.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The media did that.
Let me ask y'all a question then, because Dwight Jones brought up a point. We was going to talk about this last week. Do you think Shedeur Sanders' jersey should be retired at Colorado. Do y'all think his jersey should be retired?
No. Absolutely not.
That's crazy, man.
If you retire, if you don't retire Cordell Stewart's jersey, okay.
Yeah.
Now, is it retired? Is it retired yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so no. You Travis Hunter's jersey gets retired before his due.
I don't even think Rashawn Salam jersey is retired. He won a Heisman at Colorado.
Right. And then Cordell won the Heisman too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Did Cordell Stewart win the Heisman that year?
Yeah.
I don't think Cordell won a Heisman.
He didn't talk.
I don't think so. I don't think Cordell. Look it up if somebody got it on.
Did he win a national championship though? Didn't he?
I think he did win the national championship.
Won something.
Yeah, I think he did win the national championship. Well, they was tied with Michigan or something for the national title game. Something like that. I don't think he won a Heisman though.
He did not. He did not.
Check me if you want. Y'all can fact check me.
Okay.
He did not. He did not. No.
Yeah. I think he ain't win the Heisman. But Rashawn Salam didn't win it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he don't have his jersey retired. He won the Heisman.
Yeah, so
they were both finalists that same year in '94, and Salam won.
Gotcha. I didn't know that. Now, Jim, I didn't know that was the same year that they were both found. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, did they win a national championship?
Colorado?
Yeah.
Was '94 the year that they
was tied? I thought they was tied with Michigan one year, and they both got split the title or something one year or something like that. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, they were 11-1 that year. They won the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look, but
right. I'm not sure either, but I thought them and Michigan tied.
Oh yeah, I gotta say I know Cordell Stewart had a great year.
Yeah, he did.
Like he's the best Michigan out there. I mean, Colorado player out there. I've known of anyway.
I'm surprised they retired his jersey when he only spent 2 years at that university.
Hey, Clayton, man, look, man, it's wild, right? Because I'm like, man, how you gonna retire his jersey, man? I'm like his father, the coach. And if my son was the Warner boy, I'm retiring the Warner boy jersey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell
have
you,
a greater legacy at the university than just 2 years.
Right.
That jersey is gonna have Sanders on the back of it.
Right.
It's not gonna have the first name and Sanders. That shit just gonna have Sanders on it. That's I can't even fathom why they would retire his jersey.
And as much as great as Travis Hunter is, the unicorn that he is, I don't even believe his jersey should be retired at that university.
Yeah.
And Travis Hunter to me was the best player on the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be up for debate, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about leave a legacy. Spend your 4 years there. Really leave an imprint.
But what, nowadays, man, that's gonna be far in between, man, because them guys voting. Well, maybe not with the NIL money. They might stay. You know what I'm saying? But they not even staying.
They did that for Dion, so Dion would stay. Colorado will give Dion anything he wanted. And that was one thing Dion probably said.
That wasn't Dion's decision. I thought that was his decision to retire the jersey. That wasn't his decision.
Yeah, listen. Oh, you gotta go through the DM. They gotta go through the athletic director. They did all that.
I know that. Okay.
Yeah. They gonna give Dion whatever the hell Dion Sanders wants. Yep, because he made Colorado relevant again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They merchandise can't even stay on the shelf.
Right.
I never got my hat, man. They sent my money back. I couldn't even. I ordered the hat, the black joint with the buffalo on it. I ain't even get it. They sent my money back. He said it wasn't in stock.
And did you see? And did you see what Dion is doing now? Dion is hiring ex-NFL players to coach at Colorado to give them the coaching experience to go shoot them out there.
Mm-hmm.
As he should.
Marshall Falk there now they got Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
Marshall was Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp, Marshall Falk.
And the coordinator. And the coordinator he had last year would come from the pro.
And T.O. always going out there and working with the receivers. He's not on the staff, but he goes out there and work out with them and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And T.O.'s coming. T.O.'s coming because they're going to use Colorado. The NFL, and I'm going to tell you, these NFL black players that want to become coaches, instead of them going to the HBCUs to do this, now they're going to go to Dion, show me the next 2-3 years of how to become a great coach, and then they're going to send them resumes out to these D1 schools.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the new route. Because after Ed Reed left, what was it, Bethune-Cookman, or which one did Ed Reed sign with and then leave? Bethune-Cookman?
Yep.
After that fiasco, Dion has opened another door for NFL black players to go and do their thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. I find it interesting now that he's getting, the quote unquote good old boy network treatment. When he left Jackson State at HBCU to go to this Power 5 team, and he left that black college, go out there, and now they shunning him on that next level a little bit. I find that real interesting too.
I know.
I won't say it's karma, but you know what I'm saying?
I will. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, you know why? Because that next level, you're playing with billionaire owners. Okay, which is different than playing with AD directors in these colleges.
Yeah.
Totally different mindset.
Yeah, and I don't like how he left Jackson State. He left kind of airing out their dirty laundry a little bit.
I ain't like it at all. Yeah. And I always thought wasn't big enough for him.
I'm going to say,
I thought that stage wasn't big enough for him, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yep.
I thought he was going to have the first HBCU go to Division I. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought his end goal was, to get Jackson State into one of these divisions like the ACC or the SEC or the Big Ten or something like that. That's what I thought the end goal was. That's why I was really proud of Dion and what he was trying to accomplish. What I thought his goals were. Yeah. But money talks. This is the world that we live in now. Money talks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How great would Martin Luther King been in this time and age where money does more talking than actually people listening to it? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I ain't underestimating that man's power.
I'm not underestimating anybody's power. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's yeah. This is a different time, and if you don't adjust to these times,
I hear you. I just
yeah. So let me see.
I'll tell you.
All right. So I just want to read this statement from Purebred T. Right, and Purebred T said he could only do so much at Jackson State. Even if he had stayed there. Y'all think he was limited at Jackson State though? Like as far as like what he would have been able to accomplish is bringing up the the university.
It'd took him longer.
Absolutely.
It'd took him longer.
Absolutely not.
If he was, you know what I mean? Yeah. If he wanted to stay there and change it, he definitely would have changed it.
Yeah.
But it took him longer. It took him longer.
Right, but let me say this: the only time you're limited in any type of sports, the only time you're limited is when you're at the top, because the only place you can go is down.
Yeah.
But he is in the HBCU that doesn't play on national television, doesn't play for the national championship, doesn't get the top recruits. Do you know how much he could have accomplished in the time? He could have did a lot for HBCU.
Yeah.
Now, if he was if he was coaching Alabama and he was already at the top with Alabama, and the only place he could do if he loses one game, then everybody's talking about how bad Dion coaches because Alabama is usually at the top with no losses, then yes, you can't go no higher because you're already at the top. But that HBCU is a lot you can do.
Just imagine if he'd have stayed at Jackson State, man, then a TV deal would have came coming.
It would have came.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
All the other, not just but his opponents, they would have started getting exposure.
Yeah.
He would have started seeing them guys. You understand, Clayton? He definitely could affect change down there.
And just imagine how many more players he would have flipped like a Travis Hunter. Yep. He took Travis Hunter from Florida State.
Yep.
And he got Travis Hunter $1 million deal in the process.
Yep.
So just imagine, man, them guys coming in
Yep.
I think he had a huge impact.
Just imagine. Just imagine Jackson State playing in a bowl game, a major bowl game.
No, that would have been
That's a big accomplishment right now.
Yeah.
So, but
can you imagine Jackson State playing like Miami in a bowl game?
Let me speak on this though, because again, Purebred T make a good point, right? He says Jackson State didn't stand behind him 100%, right? And so even with Ed Reed at what school? What was the name of the school he was at?
Cookman.
Like, they had some issues over there at that school, whereas though, you know, I don't like most schools wouldn't have had to put up with some of the issues that was going on at Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman. And they was mad at Ed Reed too for airing out some of their dirty laundry too. So it was an issue with you trying to get you want to bring these schools up, you know, with your notoriety and your famous and your celebrity status, but also you want them to raise their standards too. So, you know, everybody can benefit from that. But sometimes some of these schools didn't do that. You know, they seen it as a cash grab. They were trying to make some money real quick, and they mismanaged those situations, in my opinion.
Let me say this, Mike. First of all, you're 100% right with that. Second of all, right, a lot of them schools, say like with the Ed Reed hire, maybe even with the Dion hire at Jackson State, they hire him and then they want to come and make wholesale changes. Say Ed Reed, he want to come and make wholesale changes down there in Florida. You know, they athletic department, they're limited. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got a big war chest down there. And then they saying, you want us to make all these wholesale changes. And I know you're not staying here long. I know you're not here for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? You're here for something better coming along. So we shows a little reluctance to come in here and make all these changes you want to make and spend all this bread. And then 2-3 seasons when a bigger program come calling, you on the first thing smoking. That might have been, you know what I'm saying? That might have played in, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that might have came and played with how they was moving down there Bethune-Cookman when Ed Reed was there that short amount of time.
Was the changes going to be beneficial to the university moving forward, even if they left?
Well, maybe not financially. Maybe not financially. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they answer your question. I don't know.
Well, some of what Ed Reed was doing stuff like having his the guys on his team like clean up around the campus. Yes. You know what I mean? Like basic changes like that.
Yeah, get the trash up, stuff like that.
You got kids taking care of the grass, and you got kids picking up trash and stuff like that. Right. You know, and he's showing that he want to bring the school up. Like, why not support him?
See, let's remember this though. Let's talk. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Clint. Go ahead.
You go ahead, man.
I would say let's remember this though. It wasn't what Ed Reed did that got him in trouble. It's what Ed Reed said that got him in trouble.
That's what I was going to.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Ed Reed had all the great intentions, and I'm sure if I'm the AD or the president of the college, I'm like, look, if you can get these football guys to clean this up, you do your thing. I support that. But then when you come out like Ed Reed did on social media and the public and talk about what's going on and the lack of and all that, that's the turning difference on that.
Yep. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I love Ed Reed, but I did not like that.
And if you look at what Deion Sanders did with Jackson State, yes, Deion had some issues with Jackson State. And he addressed those issues with Jackson State, but he didn't address those issues with the media. You never knew what the inside thing turmoil was at Jackson State.
Shedeur Sanders.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold up, man.
Hold up. We got breaking news. Shedeur Sanders drafted by, get this, Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
144th pick.
Wow.
What pick? Say it again, Jim.
144th pick. Round
4. The door. Cleveland. Yep.
Oh, I gotta get y'all thoughts. Like, what do y'all think him going to Cleveland? And then, oh man, is he going to start?
I think it's a move. I think it's a great move. It's a great move.
Yeah, he gonna start. And I like him with Stefanski. I like him with Cleveland's coach.
Okay.
Excellent. Play action, run game.
I'm gonna tell you, he definitely is going to be in a position to compete for that starting job.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who's in
Because
Cleveland right now?
you don't have to change the playbook around for him.
No.
Because him and Deshaun Watson are two of the same type of quarterback. You don't have to change that playbook around.
And he got that big tight end. I think Cleveland tight end. I know they don't call him the best in the game. I think he's one of the best in the game. Cleveland's tight end.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He's a good blocker. I know he's a good blocker.
He's a hell of a catcher. Did you see what him and Joe Flacco did when they made that playoff run?
Yeah. Clayton, I can't think of his name, Clayton. I know you talking about.
He's nice.
Yeah. I like him. He a big dude.
He's a big dude, great hands. Yes.
So y'all think it's a good look?
Yeah.
Y'all think
Is Nick Chubb still in Cleveland?
Yeah,
I think Chubb's still
so.
there.
Yeah. He was hurt last year. He's still in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said his name is Njoko.
Yeah,
Njoko.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that was purebred tea. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Hey, Jim, since you're looking at it, did Deion Sanders have any comments yet?
I got ESPN up here.
Nice.
I've been watching what's going on. But
now I want to see. Yeah, I want to see what Deion Sanders' comment is about his son going to Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Mike, that's it. That's it. Look, let him come in and play ball, man. You
let him play.
Let him come in, focus, and play ball, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
now see, hey, if Deion is smart, he will shut up.
Yeah.
Be like, look, my son got drafted to Cleveland. I'm happy for him. Let's talk about what I'm doing in Colorado.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, they put the ball in their own court. They took all the leverage from Deion and his son. You know what I mean? So now all you can do is go there and ball out.
That's it. Go there and do your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go there and do your job, man. Yeah. I like this form, dude, man. I like this form. And then you got, I know they re-signed Flacco and who the third quarterback up there? Because Deshaun gonna be out. It's a third quarterback up there too.
Flacco not in Cleveland no more.
No, Flacco's at Indianapolis.
Kenny Pickett.
No,
Flacco's at Indianapolis.
He's not even in Indy no more.
No,
where's he at now?
Well, wait
somebody
a minute.
just resigned him. One of them former teams just resigned him.
Oh, okay.
Cleveland or Indy. One of them just resigned him again.
Okay.
One of them just resigned
Jim,
him.
where you say who's the other quarterback, Jim?
Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Kenny Pickett.
So definitely Shedeur got a chance to go up there and start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's taking that job. Yeah, he's taking that job.
Yeah. And that's what be Clayton. That's what would be my mindset. Not I'm gonna make such and such pay for not taking me in the first round. I'm gonna go up here and win this job. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go up here and win this job. Yeah.
And just like Carl dropped in the chat, in the third round, the Browns picked this Dylan Gabriel kid as a quarterback too.
Oh, they picked.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
So they got a competition, a quarterback competition right out the
gate. Young guys too.
Yeah, you know what that means though. Deshaun Watson time is up.
Yeah, they moving on from him.
They trying to get the insurance to pay Deshaun anyway. They want Deshaun to like retire medically so the insurance can pick up that contract. You know what I mean? So Cleveland won't be on the hook for it anymore. They're trying to get Deshaun like, man, just go off, ride off into the sunset, take a medical retirement, if you will, and then the insurance company will pay it.
Yeah. But, I had no idea that they drafted a quarterback already.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew the guy Gabriel got drafted. I didn't know it was the Cleveland though. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna tell you this. As much as I would like Shedeur Sanders to start, I don't think he should. I think he should sit back and just develop because Cleveland offensive line is still not good enough to protect that dude.
He gonna have
you know what I'm saying? He could be a Richardson all over again. And you know what Cleveland is doing right now.
He gonna have to start though, man.
No, he ain't gotta start.
I'm gonna tell you why. If they got another quarterback in front of him, if this he gonna have to compete and go all out for this job. You can't sit behind this kid and take the chance that he may not.
He need that, Mike, too. He need that healthy competition too, Mike.
Neither one of those rookies gonna start because if Kenny Pickett's there, he's costing Cleveland too much money. Not that he's getting paid a lot of money, but he's getting paid more than what those rookies are. You're not going to have that salary sitting on the bench.
He's not getting paid backup money.
Good point. That's a good point.
He's not getting paid backup money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It will be wise for him, in my opinion, to sit back, like Kenny Pickett, take the beating. And if he's needed, he comes in, he does his job. If not, take that year, learn, develop the program, be him. And then come in next year and then be lightning in the bottle.
Yeah, they got to throw Kenny out there. They got to get their money's worth out of that.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Lamar sit 1 year too?
Who?
Lamar. Did he sit 1 year or he came and started his year?
He sat for the start of the season and then Joe got hurt, then he came in.
I'm about to say, I don't think it was a whole season. Yeah, I don't think it was a whole season. Yeah.
Okay. So, this is a good point right here about Carl Howley. It says reminds him of the situation when Russell Wilson had to compete. When he first came into the league, I forgot about that in Seattle. They had two quarterbacks. They drafted two quarterbacks that year too, right?
Well, they signed a free agent from Green Bay. They signed that free agent from something Wynn. I think his last name was Wynn, Winn. He came in for Aaron Rodgers like at the end of the season 1 year and threw for like 5 touchdowns. So he was a free agent after that season. If Seattle went and got him, but then they drafted Russ, and Russ wound up beating him out. I can't think of his name. If anybody can chime in and tell me what that guy's name was, but they signed him as a free agent out of Green Bay. Seattle did, but then they drafted Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson beat him out. Yeah, so they need that competition. You know what I'm saying? He needs not to be handed anything, and I'm not saying he is. He's a 4th round pick. You're gonna have to earn everything you get as a 4th rounder. You're gonna have to earn. So if he does become the starter in Cleveland, best believe it's because he earned it. It ain't gonna be because Daddy the coach and it was handed to him.
So it almost looked like a smart move by a team that don't usually who's not noted for doing, you know what I mean, smart things. So that's pretty good.
They would have did it if they was the old Cleveland operating how they used. They'd have drafted them in the 1st round. You know what I'm saying? They'd have drafted them in the 1st round. You know what I'm saying?
Did it against themselves and gave them all the money. You know what I mean? Everything they could muster up.
Right.
Hey, so let me ask you guys a question. 3 years from now, do you see Deion Sanders coaching Cleveland?
You didn't
possibility. That's a possibility.
It's very possible. I just know because Stefanski then had some good teams and he fell short. I believe he might be on somewhat of a hot seat, a warm seat.
Now, both could be true, right? But check this out. Wonder if Cleveland say, well, man, if Stefanski is gone in 3 seasons and we want to go after Deion, right? Will that change his son into the diva that he once was? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it might
change him back into the diva that he once was. So it might be a hesitation there, you know what I mean?
It will, but in 3 years, Deion, his son will prove the fact that if he's good or if he's not. 3 years will let you know. 3 years will let him know if he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? And if Cleveland's still losing, but Shedeur is that guy, then bringing Deion Sanders might be like lightning in the bottle for Cleveland. Let's get a new coach in there. It's his father. Let's get him in there, change the attitude, change the locker room, and let Deion do for Cleveland what he did for Colorado.
And remember,
so you never know.
And the two together, they have been very successful as a partnership.
Right. Yeah. As a whole, they have changed programs.
Do y'all know what Shedeur win-loss record is as a starting quarterback? Do y'all know that? Does anybody know?
No, I don't know.
He took the hit that first year at Colorado, though.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, and I just wanted to know if anybody knew that offhand.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I know we've been talking about Shedeur for like over an hour, almost like an hour and a half, right? So do y'all want to touch on this situation with what's the guy name?
Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon Sharpe. And this nightmare Shannon Sharpe is going through with this with all these allegations that he's facing, man. This is what y'all think about this situation with Shannon Sharpe and this what is she, 19 or 20 or what?
She's 22 now.
Now, see,
I think she's 22 now, but she was 19 when all this happened.
Now she's 25 now. They've been dealing since she was 20. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. So let me just say this about. Go ahead, man. What you got to say, man?
I gotta say it's a media thing gone wrong for Shannon Sharpe. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's he got his first leak, and that went so well for him. And I think he decided, let me go back to it again. Let me see what else I can generate in the media to, make my name relevant. And it just backfired on him.
I've heard that the videotape. Now we're not talking audio like the first time around. There's videotape allegedly, and it's not a good look for Shay.
Oh wow, yeah,
and yeah, he, apparently, and this is word of mouth. Mm-hmm. But some, people are talking about he's choking her. It's not a good
and sodomizing her.
Yeah,
choking her and sodomizing her.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think like some people think that just because once you get money, you get like a false sense of power, and you think that you can do, that they can do anything without any repercussions, and that's one of the reasons why he in this situation. Also, the fact that like he doesn't use any discernment. He know from his past experience that he had these type of allegations against him. So it would seem like he would do everything in his power to try to avoid these type of situations and not get caught up in a compromising situation. So
right, but yeah. I mean, I think it's like this. Those situations don't come up until you make that real money. You know what I'm saying? If this happened to this young lady, if this happened to this young lady when she was 19 years old, and now she's 22 or 25 years old, and now it's surfacing because she decided to sue him now, from what I hear, $50 million, and he offered her 10. You know what I'm saying? That's all the issue of here comes the money now. All right, so I think I can sue you now because you got the money now.
Well,
so I just think it's a money.
I don't know what that noise is. But look, I just think that I think no matter what, I just think that his mistake is to allow somebody in his circle that wasn't worthy of being in his circle. Number one, because what could she bring to the table that he could benefit from besides just sex? You know what I mean? So she is, she's 19 or 20 years old. He is building a $100 million empire. Like, why would she be in his circle? And from a business standpoint,
come on now. As a man, you asking that question, Mike. As a man, you asking that question.
It don't make any sense from a business standpoint, and it don't make and like I said, with his background, knowing that he is like people is watching him, and people have this, they know that he had these type of charges. It just doesn't make any kind of sense for him to allow himself to get caught up in this compromising position.
Listen, it's the same thing about the rich dude in the club. You know what I'm saying? It's the attention that you get, and she cute, and and you don't even worry about the age. If she in the club with you, you think that she's 21. You know what I'm saying? You a man. She's sexy, and you single. You doing the man thing. And that's probably what he got caught up in, doing the man thing. You know what I'm saying?
Smarter men.
Yeah, he got caught up.
Smarter men have been caught in this situation because the little guy did all the thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
If you guys
that's a man thing.
If you guys do some
research, a man thing. Yeah.
If you guys do some research too, Shannon has a lot of different incidents dating back to his days at the Broncos, 94, stuff like that. So he's almost like he's following a pattern to some degree, you know. And also somebody suggested something that he could possibly have some type of brain damage as well. Like, you can damage a part of your brain that is hard to reason, and it's hard for you to resist your desires even when you know better. You're not processing well, because they liken his behavior a little bit to like Kellen Winslow, and the other guy that killed himself and stuff like that. It was like it might be some damage there. So as smart as he is and as wise as he is and understanding what's coming and seeing this, he's not able to make a decision to resist his desires in a sense. And, now he finds himself, I don't know if this is true, but he finds himself in this position. So I just believe it's a lot more to it than just making a dumb decision. I don't know if he's able to resist his urges at this stage of his life.
Well, will they allow him, if what you say is true, like, they call those mitigating circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Would they allow him to get away with that type of situation under those circumstances?
If it's some kind of medical documentation and something like that, I don't know. But, but this is not, he got to be careful because he's teetering on the line of criminal charges.
Yes.
The way they editing the audio and stuff and piecing it together, he's borderline on that. So I don't know.
In the post Me Too era,
yeah,
you really got. I mean, if you're high profile and you're getting the money and you're set up, man, you've got to be so careful. I mean, you just got to be so careful. And I would not apply any motivations to her at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they're I don't know how or why she's got video evidence of what happened.
Right.
So maybe there is an intent, but maybe there is. And if you're a guy that is in that situation, you just got to protect yourself.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. As far as
that's easier said than done. I know.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah. As far as the reasoning.
Yeah.
They said
push back on that though, Clayton. He is on record publicly speaking about what measures he take to avoid these type of situations. You know what I mean? So if he want to claim some type of condition or reasoning or lack thereof reasoning, that he won't be able to stand on that because
I'm not saying he claiming that. I'm saying it's being alleged and reported that it's possible that he has this kind of damage. This is from people in that field looking at his behavior. That's not him saying that.
Yeah.
So I'm saying as far as his reasoning and everything could be jaded in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you guys a question because now I'm kind of confused on the situation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about allegedly Shannon Sharpe having sex with a young lady? That's what we're talking about, right?
No, he did that.
He did.
Okay,
that.
so what in part of that statement is wrong for him to do?
Well, because of the charges that she's
they saying.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. We're talking about the charges that she's alleging now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what were the charges when it happened? That's the one thing that a lot of women. That's another thing that a lot of women do to gentlemen and even other women when they get money. They do something in the past and then bring it up in the present to affect somebody's future. So because they can do that.
That goes back to my statement when I first started this out. I said that certain people are qualified to be in your circle, and so when you allow people who are not qualified in your circle, people who don't have number one something to lose and everything to gain from being in your circle, then you're more likely to have this type of situation come up.
Right? But that happens. That's going on with pretty much every athlete out there. Every athlete has to watch that situation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or they will get caught up. You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about Shannon Sharpe and getting charges and everything. But from what I'm hearing, because I haven't seen any proof of anything else, is Shannon Sharpe having sex with a 19-year-old.
That's thing. All I'm hearing. He paying for his pleasure. I wouldn't consider her in his circle. He's got money and he's got money to throw around and he's paying for his pleasures.
She was an OF.
Yes, OnlyFans. Right?
Yeah. So she was on OF, but you listen to the conversation. It was more than just like he called her up. She came over. She provided a service. Then she went home. They were spending time together.
Oh yeah, she's been around.
Yeah. But I'm just saying. I'm just. Yeah,
What
I'm just saying that.
What'd you say,
Yeah, go
man?
ahead.
I know. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, they were spending time together, but how long ago was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, and
You know what I'm saying? How long ago?
I agree with you, but this is the thing. They
Yeah.
say if 99 times she say yeah, that one time she say no, then
Right.
you know what I mean. The no, that's the law.
Yeah.
No
And,
means
and,
no.
and hold up. And I just want to put something out there. AI is incredible right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Incredible. AI can make you say something that you know you ain't said, but the video said you said it.
Yeah. And that can be
So
detected, and that will be detected if that's AI generated. It will be detected.
right. But what I'm saying, it's crazy that we as a society right now, we are doing this right now for the love of money. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part about it, because now Shannon Sharpe is out $100 million. Okay,
Well,
so
we
now
don't.
if Shannon Sharpe goes broke, she sues him for $50 million, win, but he ain't got the money to pay it now because she ruined his career.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, this is my thing about the situation. She said at the end of 24, things were rocky and she broke it off, but then she turned around and went back to him in January 25. So she went back. So it's some things there to fight against. But you know, I'm not making an excuse for the girl, and now I'm thinking all parties involved. You know, there's issues there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like you said, Nicole Muskin said that she broke up with him over the Michelle incident.
Yeah.
And then he came over, and supposedly, that's when
Yeah. Then he broke. Yeah, he raped her. Supposed to force himself on her. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean.
But let me tell you something about that Michelle situation. So, I don't know if this is alleged too, but a report came out. They saying that the girl Michelle was threatening to file something against him as well. And so when he went that Instagram live, what he did was he recorded her and he put that Instagram live out. He scheduled it. See, I thought you had to go live in real time.
Yeah.
They saying that you could actually schedule something to go live for a later date.
Yeah.
And he released that to fight against Michelle, because Michelle was supposedly saying that threatening him to file something against him. So to put that whole thing out there like he's having a consensual situation to push back against that. So yeah, Shannon got a history, man. The girl at Fox, supposedly he choked a woman at Fox while at work.
Yeah.
That was one of the things, but Fox covered it up. This is all allegations and reports coming out. You know, CBS let him go because a woman had a restraining order against him.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a pattern there, you know.
Right.
But
boy,
yeah.
you're batting 1,000 a day, bro. I ain't lying.
No, these are they reports. I don't know if they true, Tom.
No, listen to me, brother. You put me on a lot of stuff, man, that I had no knowledge of, brother. Because I ain't know none of this. I ain't know none of this, man. All right.
They come across the algorithm, man. So
let me
tell you something, man. These content creators out here doing some digging, bro.
For real. You're right. But I ain't know none of that, man. I ain't know none of it. Yeah, that's good info, bro. That's good info.
Yeah. So man. So
I can know that, Carl.
What?
Yeah, Carl's comment says that he's related to a top NFL player and was told that a lot of things that his cousin saw were cleaned up before it hit the media, and I believe that 100%. That's true in a lot of high dollar organizations, whether it's entertainment or business. That's going to happen.
Yep.
And we mentioned that how the NFL cleans up the players' discretions and everything. NFL does that all the time. Protect the brand.
You know, we always talk about, you know what I mean, to shield this, to shield that. You think the commissioner then told all team owners, listen, don't nothing need to come out that's gonna make us look bad. Nothing need to come out to make the league, the shield look bad. So y'all, if y'all can handle this in-house, that's what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what y'all do.
Yeah.
And hold up. And the NFL said, and if you can't clean your house up, we'll get rid of you like they did Dan Snyder in DC.
Which man, you know what hit my desk?
Man, be going in, boy.
Once they come across my desk, we smashing everybody. So y'all gotta get this cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? Because if they come across my desk, that means the media already got whiff of it. So now I got the jury execution. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me say this real quick. Nicole, we appreciate you. We enjoyed your input. Thanks for subscribing. We here on Saturdays, most Saturdays. I had to work the last couple Saturdays, but and definitely Sundays at 11 a.m. So yeah, we enjoyed your input. We appreciate your input, and everybody make sure to hit that like and subscribe button.
Hey, can I say this real quick before we go?
What's up, man?
Playing in the first golf tournament of the year tomorrow. Black Hawk Golfing Association. We're playing at Carroll Park in Baltimore City.
Yeah.
So wish me luck, fellas.
Oh, you got that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. Good luck.
I just want you to have fun, man. Enjoy yourself, bro.
Yeah. Hey, I got beer already on deck in the freezer, ready to get cold, baby.
There you go. That's what it's all about. Yep.
Hey, we haven't even talked about any playoffs or anything. We've been hitting all the high news. Man. So we got a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Is Jimmy Butler hurt?
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
He's not playing in this next game. He's got a glute injury. A glute injury is what they're calling it, but a contusion or something. Yeah.
Pure Bread, we appreciate you. We enjoyed your input too, man. Yeah, Pure Bread. Pure Bread and Nicole, they kept the show alive, you know what I mean, with their comments and stuff like that. We appreciate
y'all. Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, everybody.
Golden State tonight, bro. Golden State tonight, Mike. That's your team.
We're gonna talk about some T-Wolves and Lakers too.
Yeah, Lakers on the road.
No, we ain't gotta talk about that. We ain't gotta talk about that.
Y'all see, Ant-Man don't want the torch. He's taking the torch. He said, no, I don't need to be the face, but he's showing you he the face, son.
Let's talk about Orlando.
That dude is spectacular.
Let's talk about that.
Who?
We ain't got to talk about the Lakers. Let's talk about Orlando and Boston. Let's talk about them.
Ain't nothing there. They got one game. My man Tatum wrist hurt.
No, I don't want to talk about that Lakers.
You don't want to talk about them LA.
I like to drag the Lakers.
Yeah. Real quick, man. I saw Reggie Miller on All That Smoke, and they was asking about Mike. He said, I'm gonna tell y'all something straight up. He said the dude didn't have a tell. He had no tell. Let that sink in for a minute. No tell.
What do you mean?
So when I'm studying, on film, there's no tell.
A tell is like when you say, like, if you dribble the ball 2 times to the left, you go up. Yeah. If you give a head fake and then you pivot to your right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when somebody's scouting you, they notice your tendencies.
It's a tendency.
Even if they did know, they still wouldn't be able to stop it. Even if he did have a tell, they wouldn't be able to stop him.
Well, I don't know about that.
Nobody stopping Mike, man.
But you can make things difficult. But I just wanted to say, I thought that was incredible, though, to not have no tell. That's serious.
As
Reggie said the man had no weakness.
As opposed to Larry Bird, who told you what he was going to do, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, how about that?
Hey, Jim, why you had to say that? Hey, Jim, that is crazy for somebody who, you're right. I mean, somebody will tell you what they're going to do, and you still can't stop it. That's just crazy. Too.
Not the fastest, couldn't jump, and still did what he wanted to do.
Did what he wanted to do. Yep.
Yeah.
But man.
He felt like. Anytime he felt like.
Them Knicks back on top too, right? The Knicks took control again, right, of the series, right?
Detroit had them. But Detroit had them. Detroit should have won that game, man. But the Knicks pulled it out. But Detroit had them that game. Yeah.
Okay. I know y'all watching my man Kawhi, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Here come the Clippers. Here come them Clippers.
When that boy healthy, man, he's just nice, man. I mean, that's all you can really say, man.
Speak on it.
When he's healthy, man, ain't too many better. I'm telling you, ain't too many better.
Maybe a two-way ball player, Tom.
That's right, Mike. That's absolutely right. You know what I mean? He can get his and lock yours up.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to say Dominique was as good as him. Somebody tried to say that. It's like, man, you crazy. Dominique was a highlight film. Don't get me wrong.
I think
don't disrespect Dominique, though. Don't disrespect.
I'm not disrespecting him.
No. Don't
I'm saying he's a highlight film. He's explosive, but that shit that Kawhi do, come on, man.
Yeah, I think Kawhi is more skilled than Dominique. Yeah. He's more skilled, but man, Dominique, man, you gotta remember who Dominique was going up against too. Dominique,
I remember. I know.
He was going up against Mike. He was going up against Bird. He was going up against Magic. I understand them. You know what I mean? Yeah, Dominique. Yeah.
You take that right hand away, though. Dominique was doo-doo.
Yeah, until he jumped.
Until he jumped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had scored over 25,000 points with no left hand. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd have 50 if he had a right, wouldn't he? I mean,
if he had a left,
if he had a left hand, man. So no, that Dominique.
I like Neat. I'm just saying.
Right, man. You gotta just imagine who he was doing battle with. He another old school guy that ain't never cried to leave his team. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And he showed up. He showed up against Mike Bird. You know what I'm saying? And Isaiah, he showed up. So yeah, man. But
I remember when Neek pulled the ball down, bumped the dude out of bounds, and then dunked on him. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy, man. That's like, man, that's something you do on a video game, man. That's crazy.
Real quick, man. I heard you was up northern with me, man.
Yeah, man.
How come I ain't never run across your path? Huh?
86.
You was up there in 86?
Yep.
Oh, you graduated in 86?
No, I graduated in 90. I heard you left in what, 80? What year did you graduate?
88, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a little freshman.
Me, man. Huh?
I said, I was a little freshman.
Okay, that's what's up.
Playing JV ball, my brother. Playing JV ball.
JV what?
Football.
Oh, football. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
As great as in my mind I was at basketball, the skill set was terrible. Okay. Yeah. But I was good in my mind, you know.
Okay.
Couldn't dribble for shit, but you know.
Okay. All right, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, so we gonna have a long. I hope everybody who tuned in today, man, tune in tomorrow. We definitely gonna got a lot to talk about. Basketball, these playoffs, Golden State, the Clippers. Man.
And how well I'm doing in my golf tournament. I'm gonna keep going in and out. Let y'all know my score in golf, all right?
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Hey, Mike, before you go off, stay on though, Mike. When you go off live, stay on. Something I want to ask.
All right, I got you. I want everybody to make sure they like and subscribe. Like I said before, appreciate you. Also, Carl Holly, I appreciate your input. You know, hopefully everybody subscribe, man, and tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
All right. Hey, Clayton, don't go nowhere, Clayton.